fight. We don't have to kill. Everybody in the whole wide world really just needs to chill. No, we don't have to fuss, no, we don't have to fight.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Just Chill with Oliver George. This is episode 50, which is, I like to think, a bit of a milestone. In the last year and a half, I have been lucky enough to talk with so many amazing people, and I just wanted to show my gratitude, whether you're just someone who's watched the show and enjoyed an episode, or you're a guest that's been on the show. Thank you so much, because this has really been just an enriching experience for me, especially during all this crazy pandemic shit. So big thanks to everyone, and I could not have landed a more amazing guest for this 50th episode, just a legendary icon. But before we get to that, I want to remind you, if you're watching on YouTube right now and you want audio only instead, go get it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and many other places like that. However, if you're listening to me on one of those apps and you didn't even realize that there was a visual side to this thing, then please come check it out on YouTube. However you choose to enjoy it, though, if you could please subscribe, like, follow, share, any of that shit, whatever platform you're on, it really helps me to keep growing the show and reaching more people like you. So if you've already subscribed, thank you so much. Finally, if you want to reach out to me, maybe you've got a cool guest idea or just some general feedback about the show, you can hit me up at justchillpodcasting@gmail.com. Now, back to this week's guest. This man needs no introduction. I had the chance to sit down with the absolutely awesome Tommy Chong from Cheech Chong, but also so many awesome independent things that he's done. You know him as Leo from that 70s show. He's just an amazing performer whose career has spanned decades. He's got so many amazing stories, and that's about it. I don't have anything else to say except go watch this interview, because what a cool dude, and how blessed do I feel for being able to chat with him. I can never express. Oh my God. Thank you. Thanks for watching, guys. How's it going, man?
Hey, how you doing, man? Sorry I'm late, but I got hung up on another call.
Oh, no sweat. Not at all, man. And this is a dream come true. So thank you so much for even taking the time to talk with me.
My pleasure. I'm going to scoot over here and plug in my phone, because it looks like I'm running out of juice here.
Yeah, do what you got to do, man. You can hear me okay, though?
Oh, I hear you. Great.
Awesome.
It's in my earphones, so I'm okay.
Oh, perfect.
Where are you calling from?
Calling from Ottawa.
Canada.
Oh, nation's capital, yeah.
Yeah, I love Ottawa. Yeah.
I was going to say, in doing some research for you, I didn't realize that the tour you had done with Cheech back in 2008, apparently it kicked off here in Ottawa?
Yep.
That's awesome.
You should have seen us in... oh, shit, I lost you. Where am I? Let me see. Oh, Christ. Oh, come on.
Take your time, man. It's all good.
Let me see. I think it's this one.
There you go.
Yeah, there we are.
Sweet.
There we are. Yeah, so we kicked off the tour in Ottawa, okay? And so there was a lot of publicity. we get to the border, and the Canadian immigration are in flak jackets.
That's hilarious.
They're in the flak jackets. What's that force? You know what I mean? With the helmets and the
yeah, like riot gear and stuff. Yeah, that's nuts.
And I laugh because I'm Canadian, so they can't stop me. And poor Cheech. It was all for Cheech, really. But we cleared that mess up.
Yeah, because you've got dual citizenship, eh?
Yeah. Well, I'm a Canadian. I was born in.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah, but you adopted U.S. citizenship at a later date.
Oh yeah. Reagan got my citizenship.
Oh, nice.
When he gave, and I rub it into all the Republicans. Whenever I'm on their show, and they start talking about Reagan, I say, well, he's the reason I'm here.
I was going to say, isn't he the guy? Isn't he the guy that did like "This Is Your Brain on Drugs" and all those campaigns? He seemed really anti.
More or less, Nancy.
Oh, okay, fair.
That was her saying, "Just say no."
Well, man, thank you. It's like a trip just to be sitting here talking to you right now. I want to let you know just how humbled I am and how grateful I am. I actually have dressed for the occasion, obviously.
I see that.
I got some joints.
One of my shirts.
What did you say?
Oh, yeah. It looks like one of my shirts.
Yeah. I think it's got kind of a Ricky from Trailer Park Boys sort of vibe to it.
Yes, it does.
But yeah, I rolled up some joints. It's going to be 4:20 here in about 10 minutes. So I don't know if you've got anything handy, but it would be an honor to get high with you, even if it was digitally.
Yeah. No, we can do it. We can do it.
Nice.
You know, my son really, he tried to put down the law that I don't get high, but hey, I'm Tommy Chong.
I was going to say.
Especially when it comes to getting high. You know, that's my problem, not yours.
How was your 420, man? I saw you were on Mike Tyson's hotboxing thing.
Oh, yeah. It was crazy. Crazy. I told Cheech, I said, this is the only day we should work. You know, we should not do anything except on 420. We did so much, man. We autographed everything for hours. And we had people pulling the stuff away and putting other. Yeah, it was crazy. And then we signed some more. We had a meet and greet at one of our dispensarias. You know, we had one of those. That was good. Yeah, we had we had a crazy time. Yeah.
Is it like really mind blowing to you seeing this sort of golden era that we're living in now with weed, where you can just go down to the store and buy it?
Well, you know, I got asked that, and I get asked that all the time. And then I start thinking about it, you know, because we adapt so easy. Think about it. Because you know, when I got out of prison, I was driving a Jaguar, you know,
nice,
a Jag, you know, gas guzzler. But I always had I had friends, artists that drove electric cars, you know, not long range, but they were electric. And so I tried to build an electric car. And then I remember so clearly now that they said, we won't have electric cars until 2016. And to me, that's so long to wait. But 2016 came, boom, I got a Tesla.
Nice.
I'm driving a Tesla. So, you know, back just in 2008 or whatever it was, we couldn't even dream of driving an electric car with 300-mile radius, you know.
Yeah.
And then the phone. Remember, I made records with Cheech. We made records. People ask me now, what's a record?
Well, they're making a comeback though.
Where?
Well, vinyl sales. I mean, people. It seems to be this retro.
But it's like art. It's art now. It's pieces of art.
Yeah.
Collectibles.
Yeah, that's
collectibles.
True.
But at one time, it's CDs. They went from records. Oh, you never need another record in your life because we got CDs.
Yeah, so true.
And now CDs are gone.
Yeah.
Kodak film. One time, you couldn't shoot a movie without tons of equipment. You know. The film crew, you know, they had the trucks that carried all their heavy equipment. They had guys. Their only job was to run back and forth with the film. That's gone.
Yeah, now you can make a movie on your iPhone. Yeah.
Yeah, and they do. The biggest money makers now are on TikTok. You know what I'm saying?
That's bananas.
And there's people that used to run movie studios. They're looking for work. You know, they're trying to get involved in it. You know, they're trying to get their own thing. Disc jockeys. It was one time you had to know disc jockeys to get your stuff played. Now, you publish your own book. You publish your own everything, and you get millions of followers thanks to the internet. So when people say to me, you know, did you ever expect this? I didn't expect any of it.
It's true what you're saying, though, that we do as a society seem to adapt pretty quickly and more quickly as we go.
Yeah, so quickly.
Yeah.
Right away. And that's a problem with racism, for instance, you know, because when you think of racism, my son, almost got into a Twitter war with someone that accused me of racism because I was in a movie with blackface, and then I started thinking about it, and then I realized how racist society, the whole society is, and I started thinking about how racist England was, the home of the racists.
Yeah.
That's where it all started,
Yeah. Colonizing everything, and
yeah, and then colonizing, and then subverting, and but it backfired on them in a way that wherever they colonized, they can come to. It was part of the Commonwealth, and so they can come into England, where it's their mother country. So all that stuff, it's just ignorance. It's just ignorance. That's all.
Yeah.
The technology for all this stuff, the phone, the computers, it's always been here. There's never been a time when we didn't have the technology to do this stuff, But as humans, we evolved to that point. And as humans, we're evolving with the marijuana, with the cannabis now, because at one time, cannabis was so legal, it was called a medicine.
Yeah.
It wasn't until they decided that we can kill two birds with one stone. We can introduce this creepy plastic ropes and get rid of the hemp products.
Yeah, it was all a war on hemp. Yeah.
Yeah, by demonizing marijuana using Mexicans, who were smuggling it up for their own medicine and for trade. You can a bag of weed is like a pocket full of money. You can always trade it for something. So no, I don't. I'm in awe at life.
Life is pretty awe-inspiring, though.
It is. Especially my life. My life, man, it's been so blessed. I mean, my adventures, because I keep talking about them to people, and it blows me away. It really blows me away what I've done and who I've met. It's not so much what I've done, it's who I've done it with. You see, that really is the key.
Oh, I've heard some of your stories on various podcasts, and you have lived quite the life. Even writing the notes for today, I have probably more questions than I'm going to have time to ask you. But yeah, man, you've had a really awesome life, and it's so cool to follow your career. So I think it's almost 4:20 here. I'm gonna go ahead and.
Go ahead. Yeah. Okay.
I'll just light this. But oh shit! You know what? This isn't even a joint. This is a toothpick. It's a friggin' toothpick. No. Little Up in Smoke reference there. No, I do have actual joints though.
That we had so much fun doing that movie, man. I can't tell you.
I've had fun rewatching all this shit in preparation for this interview, man.
I'm telling you, isn't it fun? My next, one of my, what do you call, bucket list things is to what was my bucket list thing? See, I forgot already.
No worries, man.
What was my bucket? Come on.
This is on my bucket list right here, so.
It'll come back. I'm walking over here to get my joint. I can still hear you. Okay, I got a lighter. Okay, I'm back. Here I am. I'm back. I didn't go too far. Look at my cigarette holder.
Oh, crazy. What is that thing?
It's bamboo.
Oh, wow.
I got a thing about bamboo. I always have. When I was in prison, I took a course in gardening, and so at the end you had to create a business, like a gardening business or whatever. That was part of the course.
That's smart, yeah.
And so I created a business with a bamboo grove, where you create, you grow bamboo and you make all these things out of bamboo because it's such a phenomenal plant. It's grass actually. And so I've been kind of reliving my dream with the bamboo, because I got bamboo on my property. And every once in a while, I'll get stoned. I'll go wander around and I'll see a piece of bamboo and I'll cut it down and I'll polish it up. And I'm not really that good, which is thank God, or else I'd be in some shop, whacking away at some shit. But, I realized there's a lot of things I can almost do.
That thing looks awesome, man.
Oh,
And
great.
those cigarette holders, you don't really see them as much these days. It makes me think of Hunter S. Thompson. He always had a little cigarette holder.
Well, first of all, it holds the smoke away from your face, because when you got a cigarette up close, you get that.
Oh, if it gets in your eye. Oh.
My aunt one time, she was a nicotine junkie. She always had a cigarette in her mouth, and she had a patch of yellow up her face.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Man, you never hear someone say a nicotine junkie, but I think that's a very apt description.
Yeah. She was a stone junkie. When my mother was in the hospital, she cooked for us. We were kids. And as a bit I did, one of the first bits I ever did on stage, talk about my aunt cooking eggs for us. And she'd have this long ash of her cigarette from in her mouth and a drop of liquid from her nose. And then she's cooking her eggs hanging over the things. And you were fascinated because you're wondering what was going to go first, the ash or the drip. And then she'd sneeze and they would both disappear.
You're eating some of it.
That's one of the reasons I really wasn't a big egg fan.
That's hilarious. Oh man, like I said, that actually reminds me of Hunter S. Thompson, but that got me thinking, have you ever met him? Seems like you guys might have run in some of the same circles.
I came that close to meeting him. We're in Aspen. I guess it was a comedy fest. And he came and went. We had a mutual friend, and then I got invited to his place. No, this was after that. No. I missed him one time, and then when we were in Aspen at the comedy fest, he had passed by then, but they were having some kind of event at his house, and I was invited up there, and I went up there and I sat in his chair, by the fireplace, and I just walked the grounds where he'd walk around, and of course I had a joint with me, and I was by myself, and so I just had me and Hunter alone, trying to picture what it was like, seeing everything through his eyes. And there was a lot of stuff that were overgrown, a lot of crap. And I know Hunter, he'd be looking at that, It was nice. I really liked his writing.
Yeah, same here. Everything I've read has been amazing. I know he did that crazy book where he traveled with the Hells Angels for a couple of years. I thought that was pretty gnarly.
Yeah. He went all out for that experience,
Yeah. That's that gonzo journalism, right? You get it.
Yeah, that's what it was. Well, I think Hemingway was almost started that sort of that, experience everything kind of thing.
Immerse yourself. Yeah.
I was in Hemingway's house too in Key West.
No shit.
Yeah, that was crazy. They told the greatest story. He was such a drunk, that they showed the John, the toilet that he pulled down on his head. He was so drunk, and you flush it, you pull the chain.
Yeah.
Well, he pulled too hard, the whole thing came down.
Oh, brutal.
It was invented by a guy named John, apparently. That's why they called it the John.
Oh,
and then at his house, they were going through his belongings, and they found this ceramic cat. It's a cat made out of ceramics. And then they looked closely. It was a gift from Pablo
Picasso.
The art Picasso.
Crazy.
It was stuck away. It was a gift that he got and forgot about it and stuck it away.
Man, that's so
Isn't that
cool.
something? And he had these cats. They had 5-toed cats. all the cats have 5 toes, and I've seen them. And they had offspring in that. And I've seen the 5-toed cats. It was very cool. And I knew his daughter. I knew the oldest one, Muriel. Was it Muriel?
That I don't know.
Yeah. She was an actress. Oh no, kind of a model. She's kind of heavy to be on, but she was cool. Yeah, she died. They both died actually.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I have to look it up. Yeah, I've had some.
Oh man, you've got the craziest stories. I actually wanted to ask you about. Like I said, I've been rewatching a bunch of interviews, and I watched your Hot Ones interview again, where you ate all the spicy chicken wings. And everybody I've seen that's done that, most of them seem to make it through the gauntlet of hot sauce, but the viewers never find out about the fallout afterwards. So I want to know, was there like crazy digestive repercussions from eating so much hot sauce? And you were going mad. You kept putting extra on all of them. And did it just rip you up inside, or?
No, not at all. No, I'm Chinese,
You can handle it.
No, Chinese, they'll eat anything as long as you got a little soy sauce to dip it in. You can eat shoe leather. You can eat anything.
So you got a strong stomach. Okay.
Not really. I got to watch what I eat, but, and I don't pick out, I'm not a big, but I do love chicken wings. That was one thing. I do love chicken wings.
Oh, I just imagine so many different hot sauces with different peppers. I just thought it would, wreak havoc on your insides. I had a bunch of jalapeno.
No, it's good. Yeah. Hot sauce is your antibiotic. That's why did you know that?
I think I've heard that. It makes you sweat out toxins or something like that.
Well, it kills bacteria.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just like a fever. That's why you get a fever when you get sick. Your body's killing the bacteria in your body. Back,
yeah.
Yeah, that's why you get so hot, because it drives the sickness out. And, they say, oh, the fever broke. Yeah, well, it did its job.
Wow. Yeah, your white blood cells.
Yeah, so that's what hot sauce is all about. And it's out of the garden, it's not invented in a lab, So,
yeah, that's true. It's not synthetic.
So whatever grows out of the earth, for the most part, if you do it right, you can, it'll help you. Medicine. Yeah. Most medicines are poison. A lot of medicines are poison. Yeah. You just take it the smallest
microdose. Amount. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of science has been developing, and there's so much more positivity towards people using mushrooms and other psychedelics to treat depression and anxiety and obsessive compulsive disorder, which I suffer from. So I'm really happy to see things moving in that direction.
Yeah, it is good. Did you know, Christ, the name John Hopkins?
Yeah.
The John Hopkins. You know the John Hopkins story?
I know it's like a famous hospital, isn't it? Or a university?
It's a famous hospital, but he was a famous brain surgeon.
Okay, I figured he was some medical guy. Yeah, I don't know about him, though.
Okay. He was a famous brain surgeon. And he experimented with cocaine to see how, because it's a numbing agent. You do eye operations, certain operations, nose with cocaine. He used cocaine. But he got hooked on cocaine. And so the only way to get off cocaine, he got on heroin.
That seems like a bad decision.
No, not at all. It was medical. See, if you have medical grade heroin, you'll live forever. If you don't believe me, ask the Rolling Stones.
Fair. Richards, yeah.
Yeah, because that's what they did. No, when Hopkins got on heroin, now he could do his operations. He got off cocaine, he could do his operations. And most of his operations, if not all, were done while he was under the influence of heroin.
That's crazy.
So when people start, putting people in jail for being junkies and that, it's just a war on the poor,
It's not helping anybody, no.
No, not at all. It doesn't help anybody, And so, no, if you know your substance, like I said, some of the best, cures are poison, but the right amount.
Yeah, they have to be treated with respect.
Alcohol is a poison.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well,
it is.
alcohol is, I mean, I enjoy alcohol as much as the next person, but it's one of the drugs that I would rank as being the worst for you for, just what it's going to do to your body and your organs and your mind. And yeah.
Well, what it does, the high you get from alcohol is a near death high.
Really?
Yeah. But think about this. This is what I learned in prison, by the way, when I went to my drug education class. They had a movie and they showed where ether is a form of alcohol. It's condensed, or what do you call it?
Yeah. They used to use it in surgery a long time ago.
But so ether. The reason they used ether is that it would take you to that near-death place. And when you're in that near-death place, that's why they monitor you. And that's what all anesthesia does to you. That's why you always have an anesthesiologist beside you when you're going under, because it's like a musician. He's got to keep you from going across that line, because once you go across that line, you're done. And so he keeps you, he takes you right to that line, and then they stop. Okay, that's enough. And that's what they did with ether. And so so alcohol, that's what alcohol is. And so when you get really blasted or whatever, you're near death. And that's why you act so crazy, because you're having an out of body experience.
It's surreal. Yeah.
You're and just think about it. That's what America was selling like crazy. Super Bowl, Bud Light.
Oh yeah.
Booze, drink, Jack Daniels, booze.
Yeah. Oh, even when I was a teenager smoking weed, I remember thinking how ridiculous it was that cigarettes and alcohol were being, okayed for the public and almost celebrated. And meanwhile, weed was this, dark skeleton in the closet.
Yeah, I've been watching old Dick Van Dyke shows, and they got and the old Dean Martin roast, and Dean always had a cigarette and a drinking booze.
Big tumbler, yeah.
Yeah, he's got his booze, and he was drunk, and everybody on this dais, on the main thing was drunk. Yeah, not a weed joke in sight. They're all alcohol-driven jokes. Oh God!
You don't drink, right?
No.
Yeah, I read an interview with Cheech saying that he's never even seen you have a beer.
No.
So that's just
I won't. No, I don't drink.
Never have, or.
Oh, I drank a bit. When I was out on the road by myself, when I first started, 93, I guess was, I started going out by myself, and I never really had my weed with me all the time, because I was a little, I wasn't really doing any kind of weed yet, because I was trying to get a show together, and then I started going into the mini bar for the champagne.
Oh, there you go.
I got a little taste for the bubbly. Yeah. And then it got a little bit too habit. And I realized, I don't like I used to smoke. I used weed to quit smoking. And every time I felt like a cigarette, I'd light up a joint. And eventually that's
how I quit cigarettes too. Yeah.
Yeah. It took a month. It took me a month to get rid of it. How about you?
I smoked for like 9.5 years, from when I was 13 to my early 20s. And it was joints, the same thing. I quit cold turkey and I just started smoking joints instead. And I mean, I was already smoking joints, but probably I started smoking more to replace the cigarettes. And it helped. It helped so much with the oral fixation and the habitual side of it.
Yeah. It's an itch. And I call everything now an itch.
Yeah.
And if you can stop itching, then you're okay. If you can't, you got a little problem ahead of you. But no, I really quit drinking, except for Retsina. There's a wine from Greece.
Okay.
I will. It's almost traditional now. We go up to Canada. Or it used to be when we were going up to Canada. I would, there are a ton of Greek restaurants there, and they're all good. And I'd order the Retsina because it has an acquired taste. Have you ever tasted it?
I have not. I'm not a big wine guy, but
it's acquired taste. But And a lot of people hate it. It's the opposite of wine. I love it. I love Vitsina. But when I was diagnosed with cancer, that I quit everything. Quit smoking. I quit. Well, I was never smoking cigarettes anyway, but I quit alcohol totally. Just
Probably a good decision on that front. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You can't burden your body with two diseases.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I actually wanted to ask you because I remember reading that you attributed some of your beating cancer to taking the Simpson Oil. And I wanted to know, what was your experience using that stuff? Because I've heard a lot about it.
I'm quite sure it works.
Yeah. Eh?
Because they have visual proof of where one of Rick's buddies had skin cancer. And they used the oil on the skin cancer, cleared it up. And then they used it. He had it was pancreatic something pretty serious. And he just did enough that it just took it away.
Wow.
Yeah. It was. I tried it, but whoa, shit! It put me in a coma. It was so strong.
I heard he was.
But
I was going to say I heard that he was like on the run for a while. That they were, maybe that was just conspiracy shit. But I heard that because he essentially had this cure for cancer, big pharma and all these people were after him. I don't know if that's true or not. No. Urban legend.
No, it wasn't as exciting as that. What it was that he was a vet, so he was using the Legion Hall to promote his cancer cures with weed. And so the Legion Hall said, that's against the law to be doing anything against the law, Yeah. And so they shut him down in the Legion. The Legion shut him down, and then he died. He died of cancer, I guess.
Oh, really? Shit.
Or a brain something.
Maybe an aneurysm or something.
I know he left. No, it's not a miracle by no means. It's weed. It's the oil. I think the way I don't know. I have my own theory of how marijuana helps cancer or helps any disease, and that is that the cannabis goes straight to the brain. We have receptors that can deal with it. And the brain controls the body.
Yeah.
And so when the brain is taken away, like in a coma, then the body doesn't have to deal with weird commands.
Yeah. Like go on autopilot.
Like get up and go get me Coca-Cola or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your brain is gone. It's resting.
Yeah.
And I think what happens when you do cannabis, I think same thing happens. It's everything you can do to stay in the moment.
Yeah.
To deal with whatever you're doing in the moment, be it driving or listening to music or watching a movie or making love. There's all sorts of moments that can really be enhanced with
I agree
cannabis. Completely. Yeah, with cannabis. And I think by putting your brain in neutral, you allow your body to do its job, especially let's see,
the automatic functions of the body.
Your immune system.
Oh, immune. Yeah.
Your immune system. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. I think that's what cannabis does. It allows you to relax.
Yeah.
You can't be tense. That's what they're talking about. Stress. Stress really is you're tense. Everybody's on alert. Your whole body's ready to do something.
Yeah.
And so you're there's a lot of blood and everything being distracted from the area. You see, and that needs to help because it's the blood really that replenishes the materials that you need.
Yeah.
To make your body operate properly, and I think what cannabis does, it slows everything,
mellows it out. Yeah.
Yeah, and then now they can your body's slow, and I think it can do miracles with everything. And also, it's the mood too. You know, that's why, like in spiritual work, sometimes they'll tell you to imagine having whatever you're dreaming about. Imagine having it, and then all of a sudden that it will appear.
Manifest. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll manifest.
I know what you mean. Yeah. And stress really is a killer, like you were saying. But I find the ironic part about that is I start stressing out like, oh yeah, I got to be more chill. I got to not stress. But then you start stressing about that, it becomes kind of like a loop. But no, weed does help, I think, in the ways that you're saying, really mellows you out, and that can reduce stress. And everyone knows stress is a killer. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
With you, man.
And the other thing it does too, it sharpens your intellect. And
I actually
because a lot of times, you get into repetitious things. That's why how hypnotists hypnotize you with repetition.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times, be it school, work, play, whatever, you're doing these repetitious things. Show business too, music. You're doing this repetition, and pretty soon you don't have to really be there to have it done. Your body kind of does it on its own.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's being in the moment. See, it comes in handy when you're into that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Then you become aware of what you're doing. And once you become aware of what you're doing, now you can improve. You see, this is where golf and weed and mind control really comes together. Because golf is the greatest, to me, it's the most international religion that we have on the planet. Because everybody that plays golf adheres to the golf rules. And really, that's what a religion is rules.
Basically.
Yeah. And so when you got rules that everybody adheres to, now you got a connection. You see, that's why a lot of people play golf, not because they want to play golf, is because they want to go where people that have influence play golf. So you get that. And that's what people will, church. I see churches in the same way, people that worship the same way, all of a sudden you meet each other, and then, you get a little connection going.
Yeah.
But when you start being able to control your thoughts of what you're doing, I mean, that's why, like, I'm studying tango dancing now.
Oh, nice.
And tango is the toughest thing about tango is the tango walk, believe it or not, because you got to walk and look natural.
I can believe it. Yeah. That looks very difficult.
That is so hard to do. You can do it unconsciously. Or when you're fooling around, like I'm watching the Dick Van Dyke show now, and his whole shtick was dance, and so he had all the body movements down beautifully, and funny body movements and everything else. But when you try to sync your mind with your physical activity that you don't even think about, it can get crazy. But eventually, you conquer it, like ballet dancers. That's why they practice so much.
Yeah.
They're putting everything into sync because they got to have the mind and sync with the body and sync with the whole physical thing.
Yeah.
And that's why I love to watch. You can always tell dancers, they can take 2 steps and I look at their body and right away they're dancers. So the weed. And if you do it, whatever you're doing, if you do the right amount, it just makes whatever you're doing so much more better, so much more
definitely
interesting.
I like what you're saying about mental control, though, because a lot of people talk about that flow state when you really, are in that present moment and how powerful that can be. And that actually makes me think about, I read that you wrote a memoir called I Chong, Meditations from the Joint.
Yeah.
and you had explored meditation in prison, and I wanted to know, is that still like a regular part of your life that you do regularly, or?
Well, Paul come up with a phrase he called praying without ceasing.
Oh,
And
okay.
so I came up with this because meditation really is sitting quiet and trying to control your thoughts to the point of eliminating things until you eliminate everything till you're down to the essence. But you can do that. You see, I because I meditated, I was given the answer. I found the answer, and I don't mind sharing it because as long as you ask.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes. What is the answer?
The answer is God, who created the universe. Okay, which is pretty awesome.
Yes, full agreement.
Because think about this: He created something that's always been here.
Yeah.
So was there ever a time when it was not created?
When the universe wasn't here? I don't know.
No.
Don't they say it was the Big Bang? I don't know.
No. What it is. See, we've always been here. The Big Bang created Earth, or the sun,
Galaxy,
or whatever.
Yeah.
One, there's billions.
Yeah.
We've always been here. So when we say created God, we create God. See, in our minds, in order to accept eternity, we have to be able to think that, okay, whoever created this created us. Now I'm going to feel good enough about it to ask him for a few favors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the human impulse.
That's true.
And it's the way we're raised, because when you're a baby, you look for your mother, father, your mother first, but your father for sure. Your father's going to be that one that carries you over. You don't know this yet, consciously, but I mean, this is what's happening. No, what happens when we discover something, then we discover it. Then it's like evolving, like we're evolving as a species.
Yeah.
And the higher evolved ones come up with the electric car, the cell phone, you know what I mean? But they're humans, and we're all just evolving. And so the secret really is, there is no secret. Everything is in front of us. It's up to us to figure out what it is.
That's
and
awesome.
you do that by studying. That's what I had time in jail. I had so much time in jail because I had nothing else to do but to think about God. That's all I had to do. And then when you ask, see, that's the whole thing about prayer. If you ask for the right thing, it appears. And that's the key about prayer. Now, all the holy books tell you, but especially Emmett Fox, he's my guy now because he translates the Bible. He said he's got a book that I read. It's called a year with Emmett Fox. Every day in the year with Emmett Fox. Well, every day I read something, and I also use it like the I Chong and the I Ching, but instead of doing the dice and throwing the coins and all that, I just randomly open the book.
Oh, cool.
And the message comes out at me. But the whole message really is like prayer. The best prayer for me is to pray for wisdom. See?
Yes.
If you pray for wisdom and you're granted wisdom, then you can be who I am or do what I did, because that was my key. It wasn't any kind of religion or higher education or any of that shit, was the fact I got turned on to God so early because that was the only thing we could afford, really. When you live in the country, the only thing that really wants you there is church. Everything else costs, And so I ended up in church real early, and not growing up with a mom or dad. I was always alone. I was always on my own, and so and enjoying it like I am now. And so when I went to Sunday school, I remember coming out of church Sunday school one night. It was night in Calgary, and beautiful, clear winter's day. It was winter. The smoke was going straight up in the air. And so we had just been taught, that God is everywhere. So I'm walking home and I said, okay, God, if you're everywhere, where are you? Let me see you. And for some reason, I looked up in the sky at night, looked up in the air, and I saw all the galaxies. It was the clearest night in Calgary. It's so clear you could see all the stars, all the meteorites and comets and everything. And it was like, how's this? You want to see God? Here, hey, check this out.
Yeah.
Hey, and this is one. You know what? I got 1 million just like him. Even more. I got 1 billion. I got countless universes.
It's so mind blowing.
Yeah. So what I did, I learned real early the power of prayer. Now I use it. It's so much fun now because I'm a human. I'm going through all the traumas and the personal bullshit and the families, all that stuff, like everybody else.
Yeah.
You can't escape it. This is life. But to get me through, I found out how you do it. And I'll tell you, it's very easy. You can only have one thought in your head at the same time. You can't have two thoughts at the same time. One thought, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just think of God.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. God is probably the most used word in the English or any language.
Yeah. Well, it can represent so many things. Yeah.
Well, I think it's chanted by billions of people on this earth right now, chanted every day.
Yeah.
It's referred to almost hourly.
Yeah.
On television. Even the non-believers use it. Oh my God. Oh my God. So, OMG. It's so common.
That's true.
So all you have to do is think of who God is.
What if you're not sure who God is? What a lot of us, like myself, are constantly wondering these things. I definitely believe in some sort of higher power. I know that much, but I don't follow any specific religion, and I'm definitely, spiritually searching still for.
I just told you the key. Do it.
Yeah.
All you have to do is think of God. Don't have to think of who he is, what he is,
Just think about the energy of God.
All that stuff. Yeah. All you have to do is think of God. Bring God into your life. That's what they mean. That's what the preachers mean. Say, bring God into your life.
Yeah.
So don't do anything without asking God, should I do this? Don't do anything, ever. And God, you can ask God, how can I do this? The teacher appears. You know that saying? When the pupil is ready, the teacher appears.
Yes.
See? Well, that's you. When you're ready to accept it, well, you're talking to me. So you're obviously on the right path, you see? And so you talk to me, you think of what I said, and then, because it's so easy, there's no ritual, no nothing. By the way, you know what? Baptism was just, what do you call it? Like a metaphor of changing your thought. When you clean your thoughts away, you do it yourself. So it's symbolic.
Yeah.
Baptism. See, back in the Middle East, fresh water, bath water was very rare. You could go months without seeing any kind of cleansing water. So it's a good thing to do no matter what you're believing in.
Get the stank off.
No matter what you're doing. Hey, come on, it's nice fresh water. So a baptism, people put all this weird energy into it, which is cool because at least they're doing it. Doesn't matter why. But life is so simple. It's so simple. And when you ask God, again, ask, that's what the Bible says, ask and ye shall receive. So that's why they say, careful what you ask for, because you will receive it. You will receive it. Now, you may not receive what you thought you were going to get, but that's why you don't leave that up to anybody except God. See, because we are all spiritual creatures here on earth, in a physical body, to learn. To learn for whom? To learn for your soul.
Yeah.
Your soul needs to learn. And that's why the soul can go back and forth. It's eternal. But you know how they say it's an old soul, a young soul,
Yeah.
No, there's no such thing as age in the spiritual world. You just are a soul. See, old only works in a physical plane.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
See, spiritual plane, you're not old or you're not young. You just are.
There's no time.
Physical plane, you're always being born or dying at the same time. Parts of you are dying, other parts of you are growing. And that's the way it is with a plant. The bamboo plant is really a good example when you see how it grows. First of all, the bamboo plant will grow in any soil, soil whatsoever. Yeah.
Huh.
The worst soil, you'll have a bamboo plant. You don't have to do much more than it'll find water. It'll find everything. Because see, the trees and the plants, they communicate underground. We don't see it. It's all underground. The feeling, the roots are always going and feeling and getting their substance from all over the inside the earth. And look how big of earth they got to go into, you see. And so the plants all around us are as live and more so than we are. The only difference is that we can walk. We're meant to move around, but we're all connected. You see, because we all need oxygen or carbon dioxide, whatever you are, whatever you're in. But if you don't have the substance, you die, and that's water, mineral, and oxygen, air. And that's the physical plane. So there's a different rule for physical plane than there is in the spiritual. But because we are originally and forever spiritual, our real life is with the spiritual world. That doesn't change. That will never change. But we're connected, you see. And so we're connected. Each of us have what the Buddhist or the Tibetan Buddhists call it the overself. And a lot of religions call it God, God will take care of you, but it's the overself. And there's a lot of us, we're all connected to this overself around the planet, you see. So you'll meet someone that looks exactly like you, so in another place, and you kind of look at them and go, what? Or that looks like a friend, or you see somebody,
Yeah.
But we're all connected. We're all connected. And since we've all been here forever, it's just like actors. When we die, we go to a casting place, and then we get our new assignment, and then we come back. And that's what I was thinking. The evil ones, I don't think they go to the casting place. I think they go right into another womb, another body, and then they come out, and then they get another shot at it.
Oh, you don't think they move down? Like, if we're talking about reincarnation here, I know a lot of people think that if you live a bad life, then you move down, and next time you come back as, like a bug or something.
There's no down in the spiritual world. There's no down. You don't go anywhere.
Well, I just meant you would be reincarnated as something lesser than a human being, something.
Oh, no, but you don't have to go into another spiritual world for that. That's what I'm saying. So if you had got lots to learn, I don't see you. I can see you not going to heaven. I see you going right into another body. And say, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of tragedies. There's everything. There's everything. And if you notice, there's a small amount, but there's higher beings, people with super intellect. Then there's the lower ones. And then there's the meek. And again, it's biblical. Like they say, the meek shall inherit the earth. Well, this pandemic kind of showed us that, didn't it?
Yeah.
The aggressive ones, they were shut down. The meek, we were just doing what we've always done.
Yeah, people
and we always stayed away. We never got that close. And mask, no problem. Because a lot of us, we work in areas where we need a mask.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, so a mask is no big deal, Yeah,
I'm pretty
and if you live up north in the cold, you got a mask on.
A scarf here.
You got a mask, that's no problem. So yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people made a really big deal about the mask thing, but I never really got why it was such an issue. If there's any chance that it was even helping a little bit, then why not just do it and not be an asshole?
Well, that's a difference. See what people get addicted to more than anything? They get addicted to fame or being noticed.
Yeah, attention. Yeah.
A lot of people go through life and they never get noticed. No matter what they do, they never get noticed. And then when they get noticed, it's a rush. And everybody's looking at you like, whoa. Like, have you ever sat in an auditorium in school and then got singled out?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For whatever. And that rush it takes you days to get over it.
Oh, I can fully relate. Yeah. I mean, at a young age, I did public speaking, which was my first taste of that. And I was pretty good. I went to like the board finals or something in grade 6, but then now I do stand-up comedy. Well, not now during the pandemic, but all that rush you're talking about, I can definitely relate. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That rules a lot of people.
Yeah.
The notoriety.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people are like the Trump is a good example of that. He doesn't give a shit. As long as he's being talked about, he doesn't care what you're saying about him.
Yeah.
As long as he's he's one of those guys that he could get attention by doing and saying outrageous things, or And then when he got elected president, oh my God, but he has no idea of the karma that's attached to.
Yes.
But he does because again, it's all ordained. I think Nostradamus predicted Trump. I think you look back and you'll see. He did talk about a devil coming, but the upside. There's an upside to everything. The upside to Trump.
What's that?
Biden
seems to be a large improvement, in my opinion. But
think about this. He wouldn't have had a hope in hell of being elected to anything.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Donald Trump.
Yeah, people saw him as the remedy. Yeah.
Trump, because Trump said that. Trump was the one that, started talking shit about Joe Biden. And then everybody went, oh, Trump's afraid of Biden.
Yeah, exactly. It's fear.
And so there's a lot of us that thought like me, but perfect. Biden's perfect. He could never get elected on his own because he mumbles. He's Joe. He's he's not a star.
Yeah,
he's not a star, but he's the kind of guy that does all the work. Where CEOs, they hobnob with everybody, but there's one guy that's running around doing all the work, and that's Joe. Joe gets shit done. And I love it.
Yeah, didn't he do a bunch of shit like his first day in office?
Oh,
as soon as he got sworn in, he was like
everything.
changing everything around.
You know what he did? He rearranged the furniture back to where it was.
Yeah, basically, he got him back into the climate agreement and all that.
He did it all. He did it all. Trump was berserk. You know, he's like a hijacker that hijacked a boat and doesn't know how to steer it.
Yeah, he was definitely causing a lot of mayhem.
Oh man! And now he suckered like 1,000 people into looking at hard time. I mean, years in prison for there's no excuse. You can't say, blah, blah, blah. You can't say anything. You listen to one guy tell you to go commit a federal crime that puts you away for years. Go attack cops. I mean, what will the Trumps think?
Yeah.
Well, we know what he was thinking, because he got caught up in it. He thinks, see, The Apprentice made him think that the world's a movie. Everything's a movie. And someone's going to say, cut. And someone say, okay,
and he's
that's
the star.
a wrap.
Yeah, in his mind, he's the star.
It's a wrap. But he turned it, he turned the presidency. Well, I'll just say everybody lied, because what Trump does, he accuses everybody of what he's doing, or what he's accused of.
That's the thing a lot of people do to hide their guilt.
Yeah, they blame. Well, you did it. Well, he did. You know what I mean? They distract.
Yeah.
But Trump, man, he never thought he'd get elected. I've been preaching this forever. In fact, I knew I was confirmed. My theory was right by TMZ. Harvey
Weinstein.
What's his name?
Yeah.
Harvey on TMZ.
Are you talking about Weinstein?
Yeah. Well, no. That's
okay.
maker. It's a Harvey. I forget. Anyway, on TMZ, Trump called him the day after he got elected, and said to Harvey, "You fucking believe this?"
That's hilarious. Even he knew it was bogus.
He had a loser's cake made that he was going to celebrate Hillary's victory. He wanted Hillary to win, because then he could
be off the He gets all the attention without any of the work
for her whole term. Trump would be trolling the hell out of her.
Yeah.
And he would have his own networks, his own, he had all his television show. He had all that planned. And then all of a sudden he got a job.
That's hilarious.
he got the job he applied for. And next thing you know, he was up early in the morning and he's working. See, con men never work, especially rich, spoiled trust fund babies, they don't work. They think of all the excuses in the world, but they play golf.
Yeah. Did a lot of that.
They can play golf. And it's Trump.
Well, it's the golf, as you said, it's the worldwide religion,
Yeah. No, I'm serious, man. It dawned on me. I looked at it, because you keep your own score. And if you're a liar, someone will catch you, right? Or the caddy or someone. If you cheat, because caddies are the best judges of people. They know who's who, who's what, who's doing what, who's this. Yeah.
I gotta admit, I've only ever gone mini putting, man. I think I went driving balls once, but I've never done the full golf experience.
Oh, it's so much fun.
It looks fun. I guess I'm just afraid I'm gonna suck at it or something. I'm not the best sports dude.
Really?
Classically speaking, I have not been great at sports.
No, well, see, that's what you have to change. You have to live within your abilities.
Well, I do fitness now. I stay in shape. I've just never been a big sports guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. I've always liked sports. I was never that good. Thank God. I'm so happy. I was good enough to make the team, but not good enough to be a regular.
Yeah.
And so I never
I was not
hurt.
good enough to make the team.
Yeah. On certain things, certain violent things. I had an older brother, so I grew up knowing how to take a punch, and knowing how to give one too.
See, I've never been in a fight like that, man. Never taken a punch other than, roughing around with your friends or whatever, but I've never been really straight up punched.
Oh, that's good.
I hope to keep it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. I just watched the hockey game with Rangers and the Islanders, and they never played. I think they played about 5 minutes of hockey.
Just fighting.
All the rest was fighting, and it was like they dropped the puck and they dropped the gloves and go at it.
That's almost annoying.
It was a grab and punch. Yeah.
A good fight is good once in a while at a hockey game, but you don't want that the whole time.
Well, it is exciting. I got a kick out of watching it.
Yeah, and once in a while,
And I was watching, it was like wrestling, a lot of it. Wrestling, that's what it turned right into, sort of a gymnast show.
Yeah.
No,
are we talking like what kind of wrestling? Are we talking like Olympic wrestling, or are we talking like WWF kind of?
Yeah, WWF.
Oh, okay. Which is still very impressive, but
Oh, God, dangerous! More dangerous than ever.
Yeah, some people have died doing that shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, you're doing these tumbles and for long 30, 40 feet. Yeah, I didn't know that. I grew up in Calgary in not Gene Kaniski. What was his name? Got the wrong name. But anyway, the father was the Brent, the one that died. Brent.
I can't
think of his name.
Yeah.
Anyway, they grew up in Calgary, and he had a school for wrestlers. It was pretty funny. He wouldn't have the heat on. He'd have the wrestlers. They had to sleep with one sheet. That's all they were allowed, and they were like to toughen them up.
Like a boot camp kind of thing, yeah.
Stu Hart, Brent Hart. It was
Stu Hart. There you go.
Name. Yeah,
Bret Hart. Yeah.
No, and I was a big wrestling fan, because I lived in a neighborhood where the wrestling fans lived. Yeah, and I had a godmother that would send me autographs from all the top wrestlers, Yukon Eric, Lou Says, and all the old guys. So I had that connection, but and I learned how to wrestle. Some really sneaky tricks that helped me later on. Not so much to hurt anybody, but it's nice to have that knowledge. That you can handle yourself.
Yeah, you can defend yourself if need be. Yeah.
I had but like I said, I had an older brother. He was tough as nails. Yeah.
I keep seeing your guitars on the wall there, and I've had a question here I want to ask you, which is, let's say hypothetically your house were to catch on fire or go up in smoke, and you only had time to run out and grab one guitar as you were leaving the inferno. Which guitar would you grab and why?
None of them. Oh no, maybe one. The first guitar I ever had, my mother bought it when she was pregnant with me. A little cheap Sears guitar, and it had a hula girl on the front. Oh, nice. And when I got older, I learned how to play that guitar, and then I played a couple of gigs with that guitar, a couple of weddings and a couple of club gigs, and that would be the only one. I got a couple of nice ones here.
But that's the sentimental choice is the one that makes sense.
Yeah. That's the only one that I would grab. All the other ones, to me, I was never wrapped because I never owned any instrument. We were too poor. I could own the cheap Sears guitar, and then my aunt gave me her son's accordion, her 12 bass accordion.
Oh, cool.
Because What's that?
Lunch behind you.
The what?
I brought you lunch.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, son. That's my son. He
Oh,
brought me
right on.
lunch.
What's up? That's Paris?
Yeah, Paris. He's just leaving. He's
And he
coming
just
home.
had a kid like 8.5 months ago, I was seeing.
Yeah.
You're a grandpa
Little-
once more?
She's a kid. Oh, she's so beautiful. Oh, she's a gorgeous. She is so wonderful. I got to say, I hate to say it, but she's probably the favorite right now.
How many grandkids do you have?
How many do I have? I think 5, something like that. I got one that has kids of his own, so I'm a great grandpapa.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Morgan Radon's son. He's got 2 little ones, little Miles and Harper, and
That's
they're
so
my
cool.
great grandkids. I just wrote up a set of rules for them. They come over here, and they get a little wild, so I got to go Chinese on them. You don't disrespect Grandpa's house ever. In fact,
Right.
that's one place where you come and you got to really behave yourself. And it's a good training. It's really good training for kids, because I've seen kids, get, hippie, some, not so much hippies, but just people that let the kids rule them,
Yeah.
and
Walk all
it's
over
not
them.
it's not a good sight to see, And so I'd rather nip it in the bud, which I'm going to do.
Well, it's a respect thing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you got to have that. Yeah, that's the whole thing. That's what I loved about Parrish, my son. That's why he's such a partner for me. He got schooled in Paris, France, and the French. They're very European. They're very strict with their school. You don't get the kind of freedoms you get in America.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Over there. No, you're very respectful to your elders, and so he grew up like that, and it really helps his attitude, his personality. Anybody that meets him, they're really impressed because wow, But the French taught him that, look the person in the eye, shake their hand, and be interested, see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
And
advice.
so so that's what I'm going to do with my grandkids. Give them rules, because we need rules. You can't get away with it,
Yeah.
And that's what, like I said, that's what religion is. It's just rules. Some rules make sense and others don't. And when I got into the metaphysical world, and like I say, when you just have to change your thought, just your thought process, you see, and that's the secret. I really, advise people to read Emmett Fox, because he tells you in very, very simple terms what they're trying to say in the Bible. See, the Bible was written by writers, and writers are in the habit of doing the most of.
Yeah.
So when Moses was crossing the Red Sea, he parted the Red Sea. That's how powerful he was. He parted the Red Sea. And then the people with the chariots and that. But see, they're myths,
Embellishments.
Well, they're the most up,
Yeah.
and they're written by people. But in there is the spiritual teachings of all this, you see.
Yeah.
And that's what Emmett Fox zeroes in on. And like I said, I started off with another writer called Joel Goldsmith. He's also excellent, but Joel's a little bit, well, how can I say? I don't know. He's good. I just like Emmett's better. I like Emmett talking specifically about parts of the Bible and explaining what they mean.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
I'm totally immersed into that study because it's like discovering a magic trick. you don't just discover magic tricks and forget about them.
Yeah. It sticks with you.
Practice the same magic trick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I'm reading, when I learn what I learn off of Emmett Fox, I just keep rereading his stuff. And every time I read it, I get another, oh, that feels so good.
Yeah.
Good. Oh, and I got to tell you another, what I do with my daughters. Unfortunately, not my other daughter. She's in Canada, Ontario, but my two daughters here, I have them read to me out of my spiritual books. And it changes their life too.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. What a great, and not long. It's not a heavy read. A couple of chapters. Well, I say a chapter, and that's all you need. Because when you get truth handed to you, it's almost like a smorgasbord. You can always come back for more. You know what I mean?
There's always more wisdom out there to be found. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the basics. When you learn the basics, in a lot of ways, it's like riding a bike. You know how hard it was in the beginning?
Training wheels and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole thing. The whole thing. And then all of a sudden, oh God, this is easy. It's all a balance. It's all about balance. Well, that's with everything. And that's with the spiritual teachings too. You got to start small, but stick to basics. And a lot of people, especially in a lot of the organized religions, they're searching, they're looking, and then they find what they want, a lot of them. And it's a comfort. There's a lot of comfort in knowing that you have a deity that cares about you. A lot of comfort in that. And in fact, at the end of the day, that's all we have.
Yeah, I mean, I think about all this stuff a lot. I don't, like I said, I'm not part of any religion specifically, but I definitely believe in more than what is in front of us, And I think I spend a lot of time stressing about all that too, because I can't find the answers. So I'm definitely going to, really try to absorb everything you've told me today, because I'm very interested in your perspective on this,
Well, no, the easiest way to do it is just practice thinking of God. That's all. That's the simplest thing in the world. Because what happens when you it's a magic word. It's used in the most ridiculous situations. It's used in happiness, used all sorts of emotional things.
Yeah.
But when you think, and then you think of the goodness. I mean, if God created this universe, that's pretty awesome.
It's really awesome. Yeah.
That you could have a sun that's shining just bright enough in the right places to grow all those beautiful plants, and that we're lucky enough to be on this planet that gives us the seasons and the nights and the days. And your life can be so pleasurable here. And you can do, or you can make it uncomfortable, or you can make it anything you want. You have total control over this period. And then when you really, it's like going to a party, and the party's so great. Oh my God. And then you think, well, who threw the party? Who's responsible for it? A lot of times people don't even think about that. They just go to a party, have a good time, go home, forget about it. But then also you say, well, who created this party, this wonderful thing? And then you do your research, and then you find out. And then what happens is that because you took the energy and time to find out, then guess what? You're invited to all the parties.
That's really
and they're
cool.
better, and there's better parties to go to. But you got to do the research. You got to find out who you're talking to. And that's up to you. No one can do it for you. No one can take information and stick it in your head. You have to absorb it.
Yeah.
You have to open the gates and let it come in.
I
And
think
then you have to have purpose.
the reason that I've had a hard time with that in the past is because there's so much information and stuff like religion. There's so many different religions and they all think they're right. You know, everybody thinks their religion is the right one. So I find it hard to discern which avenue I should take, so to speak, for, you know, my spiritual journey or whatever. So that's sort of why I stray away from organized religion, is because it intimidates me, really, you know?
Yeah, no, I understand totally. That's why I stay away from, say, Scientology.
That's a
You know?
good example. Yeah.
Yeah. Or what's his name that killed everybody with the Kool-Aid?
Oh,
Jim Jones.
Or there was the other one in the 90s where they thought they were going to hop on a meteor and they all
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Heaven's Gate. That's what it was called.
And
Yeah.
QAnon and all those, you know, the Trumpies and all that stuff. Yeah. I mean, they're obvious. But when you find, like I say, the key is in you. The key is in you. What you've done so far is totally correct. But now all you have to do is realize that you are the universe that you've been looking for.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, that's it. It's you. And all your shortcomings are really your fingerprints. That's your identity. That's who you are. There's reasons why you can't dunk a ball, for instance, in basketball.
This is accurate. Yeah.
You know, there's reasons. You were never meant to dunk the ball.
Oh, yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, therefore, maybe you can have a 3-point shot, but other than that, you know, that's your limitations. See, but it's also your strengths.
Yeah.
You see, what you are really is speaking volumes, because now look at us. Now you're talking to me, you know, on your podcast.
I know, I can barely believe it.
Yeah. So you are definitely doing the right thing for you. And that's all it's about, man. That's all it's about. And it's helping other people. It really is helping other people. I that's the joy. That's the test. See, that's the test. And when, you know, the other day I was at a birthday party with all their Trump supporters, but they like me, number one, because I'm a celebrity, you know, I'm a name. They mention my name around their kids. The kids go, "Oh, you know, Tommy Chong." Yeah. And one of the guys that were with the party, it's his birthday, and he's a big investor in our pot organization. And so we we get together now and then. But those guys crack me up, man, because they got all the money. But with the money, they got all the worries.
That's true. Yeah.
They got all their prejudices. They got all their personal stuff. Yeah. They got all that. You see, the curse of a rich guy is, why aren't you happy? You have everything. There's no excuse of why you're not happy, but yet you're not happy. Yeah. Yeah. That's why a lot of them get mean. A lot of them get sexual, you know, you get perverted. And because they know they're in a world and self-imposed, where the only friends they have is because of their money.
Yeah, that's got to be weird. How can you trust anyone? Yeah. You can't.
You can't get close to anyone. Yeah. And then when you're allowed into, like Sugar Ray in my world, you know, they don't, there's not a lot of questions, you know, a lot of them just are content to just be with us, you know, just sit with us and just, you know, just get away from their whatever it is, you know. Yeah. Because what I learned with a lot of these billionaires is they got billionaire problems, you know, because think about it, man. When something hits you, you know, for an ordinary guy, you know, just making a few bucks a week, it's nothing, you know. Oh, no problem. But when it's in the millions and billions, and you know, and decisions can you can lose it all unless you do this or unless you do that.
Yeah.
It's a tight spot to be in, man.
Yeah, you're tied up in so many different ways, and that gives me anxiety just thinking about it.
And you got no time.
Yeah.
You got no time. You got no time to go to Hunter Thompson's house and sit in his chair.
Yeah. Oh man, that's so cool. Well, I want to say you seem like someone who's really full of love, and I know that your romance with Shelby, you guys seem still madly in love, and you guys were married back in 1975. So I want to know, what is your secret to the longevity in your love?
I guess it's, first of all, it's ordained. I've been with her before, maybe I was the guy or the girl and she was the guy. You know.
Oh, you're talking past life.
Yeah, past life.
Okay.
We've definitely been there before. The biggest secret is really love and respect. I love and respect her. Period. She loves and respects me. And whenever there was no cutoff, where there was no final straw, there was no, well, either this happens or I'm out of here. We met each other. We didn't intend to be with each other when we met. I was already married. I had 2 kids, 2 beautiful girls, had a beautiful wife. Everything was fine. I met her and then I moved next door to her. Accidentally, almost or on purpose. But when we got a nightclub, started making money, my brother and I started buying houses, and one house that I lived in was right next door to Shelby and her family. And so I've known her since she was quite young, 16. And we were just friends, just friends. And she would come to the club, and then we became lovers. But we still weren't going to get married. She had no plans. I was married. And that was one of the reasons she went with me, because I was safe.
Oh.
because she was so beautiful. When she went out with anybody, they'd fall in love with her, you know? And
I see what you're saying.
And they would become possessive and jealous and all that.
Yeah.
But with me, I couldn't be jealous or possessive. And I didn't have to. Because she was always comfortable with who she was. And who she was, really, she's an artist. She had this art soul from the day I met her. And in fact, she had planned on going to art school, but her parents wouldn't pay for it. So she went she took up accounting instead. So when I first saw her, I really fell in love with her. And that was way before we ever got together. I just saw her. I mean, I loved everything about her look, her face, her body, her personality. And she was really shitty to me. And I really liked that. She had this beautiful girl, you know. The first thing she said to me we had a band uniform on, a dickie underneath the shirt, you know, the pony turtleneck.
Yeah.
And the first thing she said when she got in the car, she said, "Take off that dickie."
That's hilarious.
And the first word she said, I said, "What?" She said, "Take off that dickie." And she wouldn't look at me. She's looking out the window. She couldn't look at me. She's not the same way now. So I took off the dickie. And then she said, "Now give me some popcorn." And we were in the midway of a circus kind of. So I went and got her popcorn. And then she said, "No, take us to the Harlem Nocturne, this other club, not our club, another club." Anyway, long story short, they wouldn't let her in the Harlem Nocturne because she was too young. And the only reason she was out with her sister was that her mom and dad had went on vacation. And so they were there without any supervision. And so they're going out, they're clubbing and everything else, but they were too young to be going out.
Yeah.
And so then when they wouldn't let her in one club, then she said to everybody that was trying to look, these gorgeous, her and her sister were like super gorgeous. And so they kind of Piper, they led everybody from the Harlem Nocturne over to my club, our club, which was empty. And then when she walked in, at first my brother didn't want to let her in because she's too young, and I give him the sign, it's okay, she's with me. And we were friends ever since that time. And then she gave me advice. She always gave me advice on, who to hire and what to do. And then we just, actually she became pregnant. I got her pregnant. And neither one of us thought about abortion at all. It was, oh no, we're going to have this baby. And she did.
There you go.
And then eventually my wife, she just got tired. Well, actually, what happened when I quit being a musician and I became a comedian, that's when my wife says, okay, you're out of here. She said, you're out of here. You're a comedian. I married a guitar player. I didn't marry no comedian. No. Hit the road, Jack. And so I was out. And then to my ex-wife's credit, she kind of helped support Shelby and I all the time. We were struggling as being Cheech and Chong, in the early days and that.
Yeah.
And we're still friends. We're still together. But the secret is you have to worship each other. I was going to say worship your wife, but I'm saying you have to worship each other. And when you worship each other, you respect each other. And unless you really want problems, you don't let the argument get nasty.
Definitely.
You don't. You walk away, you go for a ride, you do something, but you don't. See, that's where I see where church can help, but definitely spiritual training helps. I'm not saying that I don't, Shelby and I haven't yelled at each other.
That's normal and healthy to some degree, right?
Yeah. We've done our share. It depends on how much sleep we've had, either one of us.
For sure.
But in the long run, she loves me. I love her to death. And she seems to be getting more and more beautiful. I run the kid. I learned salsa because she started going to salsa dances and, dancing with these good looking Mexicans. And I said, fuck, I got to do that. So I had to learn how to dance. And then even when I learned how to dance, she still we never went to dances together. She had her partners. I had my partners. And then with tango, now I have to learn tango. She knows how to dance tango. And I'm not good enough yet, but I will be. And that's going to be our next show. I'm going to do a tango show with Shelby. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you guys built your relationship on a friendship for a long time before you guys actually became a couple. So that might have helped you guys just become stronger, your bond, Oh,
yeah. Well, figure it out. First of all, she did not want to marry me. And she resisted right up until, after we got together, she still didn't want to get married. She didn't want to lose that identity. And so it wasn't until the accountant told her that if anything happened to me, that she should have look. and I think we were married the next day. I think, no, it took about a week, and I had to do all the work. And I think she even crossed her fingers when she said, "I do." I don't think it was, the commitment was there. It was really funny, but it shows you. And then after we got married, we started. We had our baby to start off with, and I had my daughters. I had 3 daughters, and then we got our son Paris, and I wanted to quit then. I said, okay, I'm good. She goes, nope, one more. And so we had another son, Jabron, and that's where it is now. Now they're grown. They're all grown, and they all got kids. All of our kids have kids.
Oh man, it goes by too fast.
Yeah.
Kids, like mine are nowhere near that age, but I have 3 kids, and my oldest he's gonna be 13 at the end of the year, and
13. Oh, you're right in the middle of it.
that's a huge one. My daughter's 10, and my youngest kid he just turned 4 yesterday. So,
oh, you're beautiful. They're so beautiful. No, all you gotta do is really. It's like you treat your wife, treat your kids the same way,
Yeah.
Lots of love, lots of respect, lots of attention. I learned that from some of the best, where people, no matter where they were, they'd take a call, who they are, where they were. I've always done that with my kids, and we're very tight. We're a tight family. Yeah, so cool.
That's awesome, man. Well, I've asked you a lot of the stuff I wanted to ask you, but there's so much more, really. I don't want to waste too much of your time, though, man. My dad, actually, we've been doing a question from my dad every episode now, because when we first started this podcast a year and a half ago, we were doing it mainly in studio. And my dad, who had just retired, he was the studio, like, audio tech guy who was running the cameras and all that. So it was, yeah, it was a really good bonding experience for us, but I've switched to doing a lot of Zoom interviews now. And so now I'm trying to include a question from him in each interview when I do it like this, to make it feel like
he's not part of the crew now?
Well, I mean, for Zoom and with the pandemic, it's just easier. I don't really need him here to do it now. So, but once we start doing the studio stuff again, he'll definitely come back. But
yeah. Well,
he wanted to know about when you were in prison. And reflecting on that time now, what is the biggest thing you would change in the system and the penal code to improve the daily life or the overall experience of those that are unfortunate enough to find themselves in prison?
It's really hard to say, because prison, when I got thrown in prison, I threw the I Ching, My brother-in-law sent it to me, and I did the I Ching right away. And the I Ching said, "You are in prison for a reason." That was the first line. Prisons are corrective institutions where you go to correct your behavior. That was the second line. The truth is that prisoners run the prisons, because there's no one really intelligent enough in the prison system. Other than, it has to be the prisoners, that are the most intelligent. You get lawyers, doctors, all sorts of people that have committed crimes. And so the prison I was in, it was basically run by prisons. Office staff is all prisoners, because like Shawshank Redemption, remember that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the old style, mean prison. What I would do, I wouldn't eliminate for sure, because prisons, what I would do, I would turn them into schools, legitimate schools, and medical facilities, hospitals, because there's a lot of people in prisons that should be in the hospital, and they're suffering from some kind of disorder that makes them do whatever it is they do. Yeah. But it's not their fault, it's some sort of physical fault. So I would turn the prisons into schools and experimental stations. Now, see, in the old days, they never had prisons. They had holding cells where they would hold you until they meted out the punishment for you.
Yeah.
And usually the punishment was the corporal punishment, death. And like in China, in the old days, they used to put them in that Kerrang, or what do they call it? What's around where they can't eat, they can't do anything.
Oh,
they have their
brutal.
Yeah, and they would leave them in there until they died.
Jesus.
A lot of them. Yeah, and they couldn't do anything. Couldn't feed themselves. They couldn't walk or anything. Yeah. So we've evolved. Even in my lifetime, I had a roommate one time that had done time in Lethbridge prison in Alberta, where they had the death penalty. They had the gallows in the yard. They would build it when they were going to hang someone, and they had the cat of nine tails, the whip, for if you committed rape, you got lashes. It was a British justice system, and then they had the paddle. You know that gymnast horse. You know, they would strap you over that horse, hands on one side, feet on the other side, pull your pants down, and then whack you with a 5-foot tall paddle. And it was made out of alloy of metal and rubber.
Oh, wow.
And with a wooden handle. And one whack would usually knock you unconscious.
Oh, my God.
And it was brutal. And people that had got whacked could never sleep on their back, you know, for the whole time they're in jail, for the most part. And so prisons have evolved to the point where where now they're more or less they're holding cells basically. And the other thing I would do with the prisons, I would have language instructors, because there's a lot of people in there that don't speak English.
Yeah, that's really smart.
Yeah. And so I would turn them into schools for sure.
Wow.
And then and I would I would have a government run, and I would eliminate the private. Right now they're all private. The ones I was in, they're private institutions. And the trouble is with privates is there's no accounting, you see. And once you're in prison, you become property of that prison. And if they don't want to let you out, they don't let you out, even when you're due to be released. There are people in prison right now that are trying to get out that should be released, and they don't get released because the prison just doesn't feel like releasing them. And there's a lot of.
How do they get away with that?
Because they're private. Who are they going to answer to? The stockbrokers, you know, they're the warden, you know. He doesn't give a shit. When I was in Taft, I don't know how many people died of desert fever. It was like a pandemic. And desert fever, whenever the wind blew around the desert, they would make everybody come in from outside and close the windows and everything, because there was some kind of pandemic in the desert wind, and it gave you a wasting disease where you look like you'd been in Auschwitz or some kind of wasting disease. Your muscles disappear. And I seen when I was in there, one guy died when I was there. He was near death, and he could walk. He walked. He was on the second tier, and he'd walk up to the stairs and yell, "I'm fucking dying. I need to go to the hospital. You know, I'm dying." And he died. He died up there. And when you die, you just get buried in a pauper's grave. You know, they don't notify anybody. You know, they don't. They might notify it if you inquire, but if you don't inquire, they don't go looking for you. You're just trash in prison.
That's horrible.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But that's what I would do. There's a lot of things. Yeah, there's a lot of things that need to be done, and it's mostly about education. You know, that's how we're going to get out of this racial bullshit. You know, is by educating, and not just the white people either, the black people. Everybody. You know, because there's a rule of the strong survive. And it goes to this day, you know. That's what's happening now. Yeah. You know, if you don't take care of business, there's so many ways that you can die on the street. You know. Yeah. You know. Survival. But a lot of them, a lot of that violence is sort of like, it's almost like suicide. You know, they create it because they've come to the end of the rope. And so death by a cop or death by their own hand, you know. That's why there's a lot of, but it's life. I mean, that's life. That's what we're here to do. That's why, you know, we're in freedom of will. You know, we have free will because we can do all that stuff. It's our choice. It's our choice.
Yeah, it's pretty epic when you realize that fully. Yeah.
Yeah.
You are in control. I want to ask you kind of a funny question here because I saw when you were on Joe Rogan, you were talking a lot about aliens and UFOs and stuff, and you seem to be a big believer, which I would call myself, open to those ideas at least. But there's actually a new documentary that came out about the Sasquatch. So I want to know, what are your thoughts? Are you a believer in Bigfoot or no?
Well, sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely.
I want to believe. I hope he's out there.
Yeah. The Earth is so vast. I've been watching travel logs, and wherever you go, Germany, you go to, they got the Alps, they got mountains, they got places that, if the humans have been there, it was by accident.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, there's everything. There's elves.
Elves?
Yeah.
No
Little
way.
people. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's all sorts of things. Because there's worlds that we're not aware of. Insect world. Well, look, did you see the movie, The Octopus Teacher?
No.
Oh, you got to see that.
The Octopus Teacher? I've never.
It won the Academy Award.
Okay.
Oh,
I'll look
you got to see that. Oh, my God. You talk about a creature from another planet. This skin diver started filming this octopus, and then he realized that the octopus knew what he was doing. The intelligence is so incredible.
They're supposed to be very smart. Yeah,
they are so intelligent.
They can escape from almost any container you put them in. They can get out. They can find a way.
It got to the point where the little tentacles went up and touched his arm, and just tested. And it got to the point where it actually hugged him. It would come and just hug his chest. And they had you got to see the movie.
Real connection.
It is so good. But here's the kicker. They only live a year.
What?
And they only live 1 year.
I didn't know that.
And before they die, they mate. And then they consummate that love. And then she lays her eggs. And then she gives her offspring are like 30,000.
Whoa.
30,000 offspring.
That's
little
insane.
Octopi. And then she goes away and dies. 1 year.
Wow. Is that all octopi, or is that just a certain species? Because there's probably a bunch of different kinds of them, eh?
Well, this particular one.
Yeah.
That's all the one I saw, And then I watched the documentary on the salmon. Oh, they're phenomenal, the salmon. They come down from the stream, little minnows, and then they get out into the ocean. And that's where they grow bigger and bigger and stronger. And then they're evading predators when they're tiny. And then they become bigger and bigger. And then they become the predator. And then at the end of their life, or toward the end of their life, they have to go back upstream. And then they have to swim upstream, up waterfalls.
They kind of jump up. Eh? Yeah.
Up falls. That was their chore in life.
Yeah.
And that's why they're strong and healthy. And then they jump up, and then they have to get past the bears and all the animals.
And the humans
to get up,
to eat them.
And all they do, they get up there, they lay their eggs, and then they die. And then the new eggs hatch, and then the life starts all over. And when they die, their body decomposes, and it goes into the soil, goes into the water, which goes into the soil, which gives the nitrogen. So it's a circle of life where the fish is giving back to the earth.
Yeah.
And it's a total cycle of life. It's incredible.
That's amazing.
And that's on our planet. See?
Yeah,
so
nature, all nature stuff really is a great way to just make you stop and realize how amazing everything really is.
And then I was watching a documentary on Laos, near Cambodia.
Yeah.
And there they have the shy elephants. They have the elephants that live in the jungle,
Really?
and they don't come out. They're shy.
Huh.
And when they train the elephants in Laos, they don't use the sharp picks,
Yeah.
where they use pain like they do in Thailand. The Laotians whisper to them. They talk and sing to them. And the elephants respond because, again, they're a species that are that intelligent.
They're very smart. Yeah.
And they're very smart, and they're very shy. And they stay away. They hide in the jungle. And then in Laos, they put a night camera on, and they found Bengal tigers. They roamed there, and then they had found one species. They didn't know what it was. It wasn't in anybody's book.
Weird.
So yeah. So there are Bigfoot. And as far as the aliens, yeah, of course, they're flying around. They're travelers, space travelers. Of course there would be. Are they from this galaxy? Who knows?
Maybe it's like a future version of us. Maybe it's us in the future coming back to mess around. Some people have theorized that aliens could be an advanced version of us that are coming to look at their roots and study probably where we went wrong with certain things. But it's an interesting concept. I'm not saying I believe that, but
I don't think they could come from the future because the future's not here yet. They could only come from the past. Now,
interesting. Yeah.
See?
I mean, if you think about time travel too much, it's going to give you a headache. I know I get one. If I see time travel in a movie or something, eventually there's so many questions upon questions your brain starts coming up with.
Okay, think of it this way. We live in a physical universe right now.
Yeah.
This universe is physical. There's the laws of physics. That's where it comes from. The physical universe.
Yeah.
Okay. For every action, there's a reaction. And some places have gravity, other places don't. So you have yes and no wherever you go. And that's what the I Ching is, by the way, heads or tails. Heads or tails. It's one or the other. Now, in the spiritual world, there's neither. In the spiritual world, there is just one. The only thing in the spiritual world is love. It's like when you think about like electricity can only work in a physical world, because you have to have positive, negative.
Yeah.
But in the spiritual world, there's only positive. And think about it. The negative is the physical world.
Kind of, yeah. I was going to say we have got a lot.
That's the opposite
here on Earth. Yeah.
See, that's a law of physics. For every action, there's a reaction. So there's a spiritual world, the opposite of in order for the spiritual world to exist, there has to be a physical world.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's how, like you were saying, we evolve as souls. We learn things.
Well, the souls are eternal. That's like electricity or water. See, water is eternal. It just changes shapes. Every drop of water that was on here on Earth when the Earth was formed is still here.
Yeah,
and we're at 90% water. Figure that.
That's
so 90% of us. 90% of us is still here. So if water is still here, why couldn't the minerals? They just change shape.
Yeah.
They became dust, and then they can become rock, and then they can become a planet.
Yeah.
It's
fantastic.
It's accumulation of dust. So because cool. That's what ash to ash is, dust to dust. Yeah. I figured, and it's my relationship, with I ask the right questions, and I'm seeking. I'm a seeker. I gotta keep looking, but I'm not frustrated. You see, I'm not
That's
content.
The key. Yeah.
You got to be a content seeker, and being content is really knowing where you're going, even if you're not going anywhere.
Just being grateful in the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think I gotta.
Yeah. No worries, man.
I got one more call. Let me see.
If you got one time for one last question.
Absolutely.
Super quick. I've been asking everybody this season at the end of the interviews, if you could have dinner with any person, alive or dead, that you've never met before, who would it be and why? I assume you've already had dinner with tons of amazing people. So this question, yeah.
I'm guessing. Let's see. Anybody? I think it would be Stephen Hawkins.
Oh, nice. That's a great choice.
I think that's who I'd want to have dinner with.
That's an amazing choice. I'm sure you'd learn a lot. Right? And he's funny too. I remember him being hilarious.
Oh yeah. He was right. He accepted his situation.
He took it in stride. Yeah.
Well, perfectly.
Yeah.
No, there wouldn't have. Think about it. There wouldn't have been a Stephen Hawkins had he not been the way he was.
And look at what he's done for the world and for science.
Yeah.
It's like what you're saying, knowing your purpose and Yeah,
that's the guy. Okay, that's the last one?
Yeah, man, that's it. And I want to wish you a happy birthday. I know it's coming up in a couple of weeks there. So thanks a lot for sharing your time with me, man.
I appreciate the fun. I appreciate the time because I learn a lot too when I'm sitting here.
Thanks, dude. Okay, well,
take care.
All the best.
Okay, take care.
You too, man.